What is going on, y'all? It's your man Mike Titan, the gaming savant, here with my co-host Mr. Bryan Greer. And today we are talking about the Dallas Mavericks, Houston Rockets, NBA playoffs 2015. We have game 3 and 4 recap for you. Now, I know I was missing on the first two games, but that's my fault. I had some stuff to do. My city needed me, as the gaming savant savior of Dallas. My other obligated duties were needed to call. But I'm back for these two games, so you guys can hear me and Brian talk about the Mavericks and how maybe there's still a small chance in this series that the Mavericks have. But how you doing today, Brian?
Oh, I'm doing good. Good to see you back. I guess all those words finally caught up with you.
If that's what you want to call it,
Yeah, well, that's all. It's all good. It's all swept under the rug as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, exactly. All water under the bridge, just like Rick Collar getting a $25,000 fine on a game 3. So,
well, it goes to charity, so allegedly.
Yeah, it goes to charity. I'm sure. Red Cross or somebody, FEMA maybe they need help. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into game 3. Which was a barn burner. The Rockets, unfortunately for you as a Dallas Mavericks fan, won 130 to 128. This game was basically, in regulation. This was not no trick rules or anything. This was all, all regulation and everything. The Rockets got off to a fast start in the first quarter. Winning that quarter, I believe, 34-25. James Harden had 12 points. I think Terrence Jones had 10 points in that first quarter. They were just up and down the court, just really ripping and running, doing whatever they wanted to the Mavericks. The Mavericks looked like they were sleepwalking once again, starting the game. Looked very just unenthusiastic on defense. Didn't seem to really have much of a, rhythm or anything. What did you think about the first quarter of game 3, Mike?
I agree. I feel like, the Mavericks came out like they did in the first two games, just slow, sluggish. It was everybody was interested to see how the Mavericks would play post Rondo departure from the team, and just see how much of a different team they would be. And the Rockets pretty much do what they've been doing all series. Harden, Howard, Josh Smith just going to work on the Mavericks, and it was a bad first quarter for them, but I believe things did get a little better in the second quarter.
Yeah. The second quarter, the Mavericks just really woke up on offense and scored a ridiculous 72 points by half to 65 for the Rockets, which is no feat of the defense by the Mavericks at all. But they scored 72 points and it just really put the pedal to the metal. Monte Ellis really got going. I believe that Aminu got going also, and they were just very dominant, getting the ball to the hole, finally getting to the free throw line. And I was actually feeling pretty good. First time of the series, that the Mavericks were, going to have this game into control, finally get, their home court, their crowd into it. That quarter, I think they shot almost 60%. They were just really into it. Kind of actually stifled Harden, but unfortunately, I think Dwight Howard got going a little bit, again with the, Harlem Girl trying to, dunk contest, break it out once again. And they were just, doing whatever they wanted to. But for the Mavericks, they were just on fire and it couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's no easy feat to put up 72 points in the game. Take this into consideration. The Clippers in game 2 against the Spurs only put up 71, I believe, in all 4 quarters. They only scored 49 points at half. The Mavericks had 72 points at half. Now, the key thing I think that's in the Mavericks' favor for this series is that, as you can see by the score of game 3, that the Rockets can't technically stop the Mavericks on offense. The Mavericks can't stop nobody either, but the Mavericks can pretty much score toe-for-toe with the Rockets. So them getting that big second quarter from Monte Ellis, Dirk, and everybody else just helped them and just gave them more hope that they could win the series, even though they're down 3-0 or 2-0 at this point. It just shows that they can get all cylinders firing on offense whenever they get everything clicking and put a good quarter together to combat with the Rockets.
Yeah, I totally agree. They can, get it going. It's all about with them of making smart passes and keeping the turnovers down.
Exactly.
When they do those two things, they are as good as any team on offense. But unfortunately, in this series, they've been turning the ball over and just making a lot of silly jump passes like Tim Tebow's in the game or something. I don't know what they're doing. But they really just been, very unbalanced with that. Now, the third quarter of Game 3, unfortunately, James Harden got it going with 16 points and really started putting the hammer down on the Mavericks. And once again, they came out from the halftime looking like they took some sleeping pills and very uninspired and got behind the 8 ball once again. And this will allow the pick and roll with Josh Smith and, Dwight Howard to get going. And I don't know. I don't know what the Mavericks do. I don't know if they just didn't know what the pick and roll was before this series or whatever, because they just allowed Dwight Howard, Josh Smith just to go off on 80 point any time they want to.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know as we all know, Josh Smith is technically a small forward, but he could play the power forward too. When he first came to the league, I used to call him a poor man's LeBron because he pretty much had the size and athleticism of LeBron. He just can't shoot, which he still can't shoot in my opinion. But yeah, it was just very disheartening to see him and Dwight Howard just constantly pick and roll, Dirk and Tyson trying to cover that. And it's like, well, it's bad enough you got to deal with Dwight Howard and him being able to pluck any ball out the sky and dunk it in for an alley-oop or get an offensive rebound. But then you also got to deal with Josh Smith, who has adequate ball dribbling skills for a big man or a big 3-4, whatever you want to call him, a hybrid forward. And you just got him going on picks and throwing it to Dwight. It's just very disheartening. And of course, James Harden, which has pretty much been the Rockets' game plan the whole series, just let him go one-on-one. The defense will collapse in, and then he'll just kick it out, or he'll do a little scoop pass to whoever's under the basket and just get them easy buckets. It is very hard to defend that pick and roll when you have two athletic bigs like that who can play off one another and then also still get inside and, as we all know, the officiating's been this series, get some calls to go their way that maybe shouldn't go their way or should just be no calls. But yeah, looked like it was a very difficult third quarter for the Mavs.
Yeah, it was just like you said, they were on their heels, just couldn't get no calls. Everything was just seemed to be falling apart. Now in the fourth quarter, they got back into it once again, and it was just back and forth. The Mavericks, Monte Ellis really got it going, got to the free throw line, kept them in it, and got this game all the way down to the end. Now, that last play I want to talk about specifically for them to either tie the game or win it. I don't know what that was, because Monte Ellis shot that ball. That ball had no shot of going in. It barely hit the backboard. I thought I was going to kill a cameraman, honestly. I did. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that last play, I don't know if that was a play they had called or if that was just something like, well, there's only like 6 or 7 seconds. He got the thing about Ellis is that he got separation, so he had a shot. For whatever reason, that just happened to be the one shot that I don't know if he didn't get his feet set. I don't know if one of the lights was in his eyes, some sweat got in his eyes, something, but that looked like kind of like a shot put at the basket.
Did a hawk come out of the sky and take the ball or something?
Exactly. Now, why you would run this play to pretty much you inbound it to Dirk? First of all, I think Monte took the ball, inbounded the ball, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
I think he gave it to Dirk and then gave it right back to Monte. Monte said, I got this.
Yeah, and that in that situation, I wouldn't understand why you would have the person who you want to shoot the ball inbound the ball. Like, you would figure you would want to have that person come off a screen, do something to try to get open. I don't know. And then you have him give the ball to Dirk, who Dirk is like, oh, just take the ball. Then Dirk just goes stands on the 3-point line. And I was just like, okay, I guess this is just going to be an ISO, Monte against his defender. Monte technically beat his defender. He got separation. He just couldn't hit the shot. But, I personally wish they would have drew something different up. Like, for instance, that Milwaukee and Chicago game yesterday where they had Jared Bayless. Call. Yeah, incredible call by Jason Kidd, where they had Jared Bayless, back cut. Derrick Rose was caught sleeping. They scored the game-winning basket with no time left, something similar to that. But I don't know. It was, to me, I feel like it was a bad play call. I felt like that somebody else should have inbounded the ball, and they should have just had, Monte come off of like 3 back screens or something like that to try to get him open, or at least get him enough separation that's where he caught the ball, he could reverse field and put a move on his defender and try to get a better shot. But yeah, like I said, it was a good game. It was a close game. I honestly do kind of feel like the Mavs should have won that game, but the cards just weren't in their favor that night.
Yeah, that was a game that they should. They let that one slip away, definitely. They should have got a couple more stops or something because, by no means are the Rockets just that better than the Mavericks, because we see them make a lot of ill-advised, shots and ridiculous, defensive breakdowns just as much as the Mavericks. So the Mavericks really let that game slip through their fingers.
Yeah, clearly. I mean,
and another thing, they let Jason Terry get off too much. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike.
Yeah, no, you're fine, man. Don't let it happen again. But
oh, okay, yeah. Everybody gets one. I understand. Duly noted, sir. Duly noted.
No, I do agree with you. I feel like, in retrospective, as bad as the Mavericks have played in this series could easily be 3-0 Mavericks right now. I mean, the first 2 games, they had their issues, but they pretty much stuck with the Rockets the first game. They pretty much stuck with the Rockets the second game until they had that little lapse in the latter minutes of the fourth quarter that made the score look worse than it really was. And they were beating the Rockets at a certain point in the fourth quarter in game 3 until the Rockets just did what they do. So even though it is 3-0 Mavericks, down 3-0, it could be flipped to either way. It could be 2-1 Mavericks, 1-2 Mavericks, but I don't think the score of the series, perfectly tells how close these two teams are, even though it kind of looks like, the Rockets are dominating the Mavs, which I personally think that they're not.
No, they're not. They're just taking advantage more of the open shots they've been getting and the defensive breakdowns of the Mavericks. While the Mavericks, they've missed free throws. They just, it's just certain defensive breakdowns where they just allow the Rockets to just capitalize a lot more and just take advantage of, the miscues. Because like I said, the Rockets are just almost as many defensive breakdowns. We see Dwight Howard get in foul trouble in this series. So, this is a very close series, but the Rockets at the end, when it counts the most, they've been able to make the plays in the first 3 games.
Exactly.
And, after this game, Rick Carlisle did get a $25,000 fine for criticizing officials. And, that was something that, I almost can't blame him for, because you saw Dwight Howard put Devin Harris, I think in the second half, almost 3 rows into the stands, and then get no foul call. I said, I don't know what Devin Harris has to do to get a foul call, I guess he got to come out in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. Or in a Rockets uniform.
Yeah, even better. Just come out of Rockets uniform. Come to old school. It's, anything that looks like a Rockets uniform, I think he might get a foul call, because so far in this series, anything the Rockets look like they might get fouled, or fling up their hands up in the air, they might actually get a flagrant 2, get kicked out of the game. So Mavericks, be careful, because that's the way it's looking this series.
Yeah.
Now, going into game 4. It was looking pretty scary for the Mavericks. Honestly, I was thinking the vacation was coming soon for the Mavericks. But fortunately, if you're a Mavericks fan, they actually pulled this game out, game 4, the score being 121-109. And really, this game their offense was just on a roll. Their first quarter came out, looked like they actually, ate a good breakfast or something, had a good pregame meal, had some pep in their step, actually played some defense. How about that? And Al-Farouq Aminu started in the lineup. J.J. Barea started. Third point guard starting for the Mavs in the playoffs. I just can't say enough about the adjustments that Rick Carlisle made in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he made some definitely good adjustments. Starting Aminu, putting him on James Harden. Now,
incredible.
Yeah, it was a good decision, because when Rondo was playing, he was guarding Harden. Rondo is pretty much about 6'3", 6'4", so he's a little bit smaller than Harden. Al-Farouq Aminu is a good 6'8", probably 210, 220 maybe. Yes. So that's a bigger, longer wingspan defender that you have on James Harden, who's only about 6'5", probably 200 maybe at the most. So if you ever notice, those big, long wingspan defenders usually give people a lot of trouble because they can, cover a lot more ground. And also, he's really athletic. So he's probably as athletic, if not more, but he probably is more athletic than James Harden. So it's very easy for him to stay with him. And then JJ Barea tonight was just amazing by him.
Incredible.
I believe he finished with 17 points, 12 assists, something like that. Showing shades of the 2011 JJ Barea from the LA Lakers series. If you guys remember when the Mavs swept the Lakers,
yes.
Barea pretty much just killed
Mother's
the
Day
Lakers.
massacre.
Yeah, it was just a straight massacre. He pretty much ran the offense the way that they were running it at the beginning of the season. Get the ball. All right, we're gonna run up the field. We're gonna run up the court.
Yeah.
Put some pressure on the defense for them to
Cowboys
get back.
looking for a running back. JJ Barea, you might want to go to Valley Ranch.
Yeah, doing free auditions over there. But
yeah,
he pretty much just pushed the ball up the court, put pressure on the Rockets defense. And then if for y'all that have not watched JJ Barea, if you watch him dribble in the lane, it is like poetry in motion. The amount, the sudden stops, the jukes, the little cross dribbles, just the way he gets to the basket so effortlessly, and then finding open people. It's like it's amazing. I'm actually very surprised that he didn't do better when he was in Minnesota. Maybe it's a different offensive scheme, but the way he played,
I believe he was playing with so many young guys.
Yeah,
that makes a big difference.
Yeah, probably also makes a difference, and probably coaching schemes and stuff like that too.
Yes.
But tonight, JJ pretty much just showed why the Mavericks re-signing him at the beginning of the season was a very smart move, because if we wouldn't have had him tonight, we probably would have lost this game. I'll go ahead and say that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. JJ Barea really gets set the tempo for this team. He's very aggressive in the lane, throwing his body in there, on defense. He was very aggressive with Jason Terry. Jason Terry only finished the game with 3 points. We know in this series he's looked like, the 2011 version of Jason Terry, but tonight JJ Barea was all over him, causing offensive fouls, taking charges, everything he needed to do. So kudos to him, and I can't say enough about Alfred Gamino. This series, he's had every game he's been good. Not just he's kind of in there. He's making defensive plays over and over again. Now tonight, the offense was there with 3 pointers from the corner, was just hitting his free throws, just all over the place. It just made Harden work for everything, and made Harden give up the ball and get it out to Trevor Ariza, which Trevor Ariza turned back into Trevor Ariza tonight. Was very MIA from the 3-point line, and they just really smothered them on the defensive end. So I don't want to hear about the Mavericks, can't play defense. Tonight they proved they can. It's just all about effort.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's all about effort. And also another thing that the Mavericks were getting killed at in the first 3 games that they dominated this game, surprisingly. The Mavericks actually out-rebounded the Rockets. I believe it was 52-38,
Hallelujah.
Something like that.
Hallelujah.
So you're seeing that. The Mavericks had, I want to believe it's like 14 offensive rebounds. So that's second points that you get right there. And also defensive rebounding, keeping your opponents only getting 1 shot at the basket, which also helps on the offense. So it means less points that you have to come back by. That was really big for the Mavericks. But the one thing I will say that I have to be negative about the Mavericks, they were only 9 of 21 from the free throw line tonight. So they won.
Horrible tonight. I don't know what was going on with Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just, didn't do his free throw something routine this morning. Or...
I thought somebody was going to die on that free throw line tonight. I was just praying for somebody not to die.
Yeah, exactly. But, look at it like this. The Mavs won 121-109. The Rockets pretty much, I think the coach emptied the bench with like a minute and a half left, something along that lines. Just imagine if the Mavs would have been better at the free throw line. This could have easily been a 20-25 point win, but it was a good win by them.
I agree.
Monte Ellis, being back how Monte should play, driving to the basket, getting to the free throw line, made his mid-range jumpers. Amari Stoudemire actually had a pretty good game. He was actually
very good
the ball
game
twice, maybe 3 times. I don't know.
He kind of did that. Just get out of my way, that stiff arm, to Josh Smith, and just let him know he was there.
Yeah, like, so your son, like, I may be a little older, but I still got a little bit in the tank, showing that just a little flash of that Amari.
We're gonna take him back to Phoenix for you.
Yeah, back in the Phoenix days.
Act like I got Steve Nash throwing me the rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not quite, but close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Too bad that Amari's not around for the Mavericks.
Yeah, but overall, this was a really good win for the Mavericks. They played in pretty much desperation mode. They did not want to go home, and they pretty much dominated the Rockets in the areas they needed, playing defense and rebounded to come out of Game 4 with the win.
Yeah, and also I want to give kudos to the Mavs in the second half coming out on a 30-12 run. That third quarter, they just ran the Rockets over, and that was just really, I think, the key to the game because they just didn't know what hit them. I think that, Kevin McHale was looking for some kind of assistance from the National Guard or something because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know who to throw in there. Actually, I think he put one of the guys that he played in the city, some guy named Joseph, and he missed a layup. I don't know if you saw that right under the basket. He was like, "Oh man, I'm in the playoffs." I think he's just excited to get in the game and missed a point blank layup. I was like, "Yeah," but Kevin McHale's back to being Kevin McHale, just throwing whoever out there, So it was just a really good win to see the Mavericks actually, have a crisp game, play defense for once. You actually saw Monte Ellis get on the ground going for a rebound. I don't know if you've ever seen that this year. I was like, I believe in unicorns now. Because I didn't think I'd ever see Monte Ellis dive on the ground for a ball of defense.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game for the Mavs. Like I said, they played defense. They dominated on rebounding. Free throws weren't that big an issue because they I believe they were 10 of 28, 26 from the three-point line, shooting 36%. There was a point in the game, I believe it's in the third when they were making that run where Charlie V hit a three, Monte hit a three.
8 points.
Yeah, exactly. They just got back-to-back threes, and that was a part of JJ Barea getting the basketball and pushing it up the court after getting a defensive rebound and putting pressure on the Rockets defense to try to get back and get on defense. So kudos to Barea, Aminu, the whole Mavericks team for pulling out this win. Now we just need to see if they can go back to Houston and get it in Game 5.
Yeah, and also I want to give kudos to Devin Harris trying to give Dwight Howard the tombstone tonight. I was very impressed by him. I said, Dwight Howard, you gonna allow Devin Harris to be over 100 pounds lighter than you? I said, yeah. So Dwight Howard's never gonna change. He's gonna be as soft as vanilla ice cream for the rest of his life. Seems like he didn't even do nothing. I was just like, man, I didn't know that Devin Harris could pick him up and body slam him like that, but he sure did it.
Oh man,
and I know in all seriousness. No, go ahead.
No, I say he must have been doing his squats before the game.
Yeah, he must have because in all seriousness, that really did set the tempo in the second quarter when he did that because it got the team back into it, let them know that we're not going to take that because as we said in Game 3, he did throw Devin Harris into like the third row. So, Devin Harris came back and said, nah, son, I ain't going out like that. So, soft as cotton candy, Dwight Howard just kind of took it and laughed and giggled about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably also another thing that'll be close to watch during this series is Dwight Howard's, for lack of a better words, mental state. How is Houston going to react after this loss? They pretty much had the chance to end the Mavericks season, but they didn't, and they lost. And
we know how they get.
Yeah, you know how they get.
When the pressure's on, it can snowball because Game 5, they've got to win that game. Yes, the Mavericks are definitely a must win. We know that the Mavericks are a must win, but if Houston loses Game 5, I can only imagine what that's going to start. The point of the figures, because after a nice game, I don't know if you saw, James Harden was already saying that the point guards need to get us a better position. I'm like, whoa, it's already started.
You are kind of like the point guard. You realize that, right?
Yeah, you know that the ball's in your head like 99% of the time on offense, right? You dribbling like 23 out of 24 seconds on the clock. So, when I saw that, I said, oh yeah, that ball's gonna feel a little bit heavier on Tuesday in Game 5, I believe.
Oh yeah, exactly. And also with this win, the Mavs strictly put the pressure back on Houston. Now I know the Mavs are down 3-1, but you put the pressure back on Houston because 1, they're back at home. 2, it's a closeout game for them, so it's like they don't want to, give the Mavs any momentum. And 3, Houston doesn't want to be that first team to have a team come back down 3-0 and win the series. So
they don't think that's not in their head.
Yeah, exactly. That's in the back of their heads already. And
yes.
It's gonna put all the eyes on Houston. It's like, all right, y'all pretty much have control of this series. Are y'all gonna, execute and end the series, or are you just gonna, let the little stuff get to you and let the Mavericks come back in this series?
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know if you saw Kevin McHale's press conference. I mean, he said we sucked out there. I was like, whoa, you got to keep your head. I know that you didn't play well that, but you can't. As a coach, you got to keep your composure, and not just totally. I mean, the Mavs are at home. They gotta remember that, because if they allow that one loss giving them like that, then Game 5, the Mavericks will go out there and start firing and start hitting shots and believing in themselves, and then all of a sudden, you're playing for your lives and looking, one game away from going to a Game 7 where anything can happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. See, it happened to the Spurs year before last when the Miami Heat won their second title. The Spurs pretty much had the game won.
At Game 6.
Yeah, Game 6, and then Ray Allen happened, and we know the rest from there.
Yeah. I mean, momentum's a beast, and confidence. These are all professional athletes, and when your confidence wanes, then they just really domino very quickly. So, I'm looking forward. Kudos to the Mavs for not quitting. Going out, having a good game, and really playing defense, and making the switch up on hard with the meeting, because that was really a big factor in this game. And also, I want to give props to Tyson Chandler for mixing it up with Dwight Howard. Now, we don't need the technicals, but he is really just getting into it with Dwight Howard and getting in his head, because Dwight Howard is just starting to mope around and doing all his little why me stuff that he likes to do.
Yeah, exactly. Tyson the Enforcer letting Dwight know that stuff ain't gonna fly in Dallas, son.
Yeah. We ain't serving no sauce with cotton candy up here in Dallas like down in Houston, because that's the way Dwight Howard seen the play after the first quarter. Because the first quarter he was good, but after that he was like, oh, no, I'm taking my ball and going home. Tyson Chandler's a little too much for me tonight.
Yes, exactly. But after this win, like I said, Mavs are down 3-1. There's a small sliver of hope. So my prediction from our NBA playoff preview video is still somewhat holding true. The Mavericks could pull it out, win the next 3 games, and go on to the next round. I believe to face either San Antonio or the Clippers. With that series is at 2-2 right now. So things are looking up for the Mavericks. I still believe in them. I still have hope that they can come out and win this series.
Yeah, I do too. I'm feeling pretty good, considering, as long as they let Dwight Howard go to the free throw line, then they'll have a lot of chances this, Game 5 to try to, bring it back to Dallas for a Game 6, because if he comes out like he did in Game 4, with that kind of attitude, boy, the Mavs are gonna be looking pretty.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like a shark and water of blood. Was it when sharks smell blood? Something like that.
Close enough.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. If the shoe fits, wear it.
Exactly, or just get a bigger shoe. Either or, As long as you got the receipt, you can take it back and get something else. But
exactly. Yeah.
Anywho,
nailed it.
Yeah. You got any closing remarks before we get out of here, man?
I just want to hear people's comments about the game. Game 3 about how the game just got out of hand real quickly, and also about Game 4. Do you think this series is going to go longer than Game 5? I want to hear about the Mavericks' performance in Game 4. Do you think that this series will get close out Game 5, or will it go longer? So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people say about this series in our comment section.
Yeah, same here, man. If y'all got anything to say about the Mavericks, the NBA playoffs in general, leave it down below. If you guys want to talk to us on Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at UnrivaledMM. Same thing for Instagram, Unrivaled Multimedia. Just put it in Google and we'll come up. I promise you, we'll be like the only company named that, because it's a very unique name which we came up with, and we take very good pride and joy in our company name. But that's gonna be it for us. That's gonna be it for us today. I want to thank y'all for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm Mike Titan. That's Bryan Greer. We will catch you guys next time. Peace.